Hello, everybody. My name is Meg Moonbeam, and welcome back to the Beyond Astro weekly forecast here on the Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. I'm very happy to be here with you all today to talk about this upcoming week's astrology weekly forecast, of course. And, over here on Beyond Mystic, we're about to be taking a 2-week summer vacation. So for the whole first 2 weeks of July, I believe, our regular scheduled programming shows are not going to be happening. So I'm not going to see you guys for a Beyond Astro weekly forecast until July 14th, Sunday, July 14th, I think. So thank you, Tim. Tim saying, hoping your trip to England with Jan goes so great. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So before we get into the astrology for this week coming up, I just want to remind you guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube and Rumble channels. And also, I do offer personal astrology readings that are available at consultations.beyondmystic.net. If you would like a personal reading with me, I'd be more than happy to go deep into your astrology with you. I love to share the gift of astrology with anybody who would like to hear it. GBF Beauty Club says, can't wait for my reading with Meg in September. Well, I can't wait to meet you and share the astrology with you. So yeah, link in the description below if you'd like to have a reading with me. So I'm filming this Beyond Astro weekly forecast on the last day of June 2024, and we're about to be entering July. And first week of July, I always find really interesting because not only do we have July 4th, happy almost July 4th to all my American friends out there, but we also have Canada Day. For those of you who don't know, July 1st is Canada Day. So our Canadian holiday for the country of Canada. So, in astrology, when we have a birthday, the technical astrological word for birthday is solar return. And it's not just people in astrology that have astrological charts. It's also countries, institutions, businesses, anything and everything has an astrological chart. So in this Beyond Astro forecast, I want to talk about something a little bit different to start off, which is the solar return for Canada and also the solar return birthday chart for the USA. And our solar returns, our birthday chart, the solar return is when the sun returns every year on our birthdays to the same sign and degree as when we were born. And it shows the astrological influences for that whole upcoming birthday year. So for Canada, Canada's birthday, as I said, is July 1st, but the exact moment of solar return was actually yesterday, June 29th, 2024 at 11:33 p.m. Ottawa time. And what I've got up on here on the screen right now is the solar return birthday chart for the country of Canada that started yesterday and for the whole next year. And this is a really interesting solar return chart for the country of Canada because we've got multiple what we call stelliums. And a stellium is when we have three or more planets in the same sign or house. Actually, there's 4 stelliums. So there's a stellium of planets in the 5th house, including the sun, which is the most important thing to pay attention to in a solar return chart because it's based on the sun. Stellium of planets in the 1st house, a stellium of planets in the 2nd house, and a stellium of planets in Cancer. So I'm really happy to see in the solar return chart for Canada for this upcoming year, this stellium of planets in the 5th house, including the sun, is really, really positive. The 5th house is the Leo ruled areas of life. So it's about fun, celebration, creativity. There's something that's going to be celebrated big time for Canada coming up in this year. And this is love and playfulness and romance and enjoyment of life. So I feel like there's going to be a very positive development for Canadians in this solar return year. And when we get back from the Beyond Mystic vacations, I'll do more of a deep dive on the Canada solar return and the US solar return. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek since we are in that week right now. Pisces rising for the country of Canada. So that's really interesting. There's a highlight on compassion and sensitivity, the arts, even possibly spiritual people, or a big loss or disappearance of something. Pisces can be uh, loss, disappearance. So I think there's going to be something that is a major release for Canada in this upcoming solar return year that's going to be a huge celebration. And I think you guys can understand possibly what I'm talking about. I think this has to do with the leadership, since we've got Granddaddy Saturn in the first house, stellium of planets in the first house, which is very much a house around leadership, self. And Canada is going to be center stage and highlighted on the world stage this upcoming year. So I'll do more of a deep dive when we come back from vacation. But just wanted to show you, I like the solar return for Canada with that fifth house stellium looking really good. And then we've got the United States solar return, which is going to be right on July 4th. And this one is a bit more intense than the solar return birthday chart for the country of Canada, because look at that. The USA also has a stellium of planets in the 8th house of Scorpio, 7th house of Libra, and in the sign of Cancer. Now, USA country starting on July 4th and for the whole next year, this is a really intense energy because the 8th house of Scorpio stellium with a Scorpio rising, this is the sign that rules death, rebirth, transformation, cleansing of toxicity. And I really like that it's the sun, Venus, and the moon in the 8th house. So those are not malefic planets. Those are not heavy planets. So, you know, the sun and the moon very much have to do with the identity of the United States of America, how people identify, people's emotional well-being as well. So I think there's going to be, and it kind of goes without saying, we've already been seeing this in the past week with the debate that just happened, a major death and rebirth for the country. And I think also similar to Canada, there's going to be very positive developments for the United States over the next year, because the day after the United States exact birthday solar return is a new moon in Cancer. We're going to be having a beautiful new moon in Cancer on July 5th. And so if we have our birthday, you know, the day of, day after, or within 3 days before or after a new moon or full moon, we're actually holding the energy of that lunation with us for the whole next birthday year. So, you know, Cancer new moon, and it's a very positive Cancer new moon I'm going to talk about for us as a collective. But that Cancer new moon that we are having on July 5th is with the United States of America for the whole next year, because it's happening the day before the USA's solar return. So this is really, really powerful. And this is also what I'll say. I'll do a deep dive on it in a couple of weeks, but I'll also say, with Uranus and Mars conjunct in the 7th house and Jupiter in the 7th house, very positive developments in changes to leaders, people that the United States has commitments with. So going to be very interesting, the political changes. 7th house can have to do with politics. Some very shocking changes, but with Jupiter there, they're going to be very positive. So we'll talk about that more when I do the deep dive on that in a couple weeks. Two other main things going on this week, other than, of course, the solar return of Canada and the United States. Number one being on July 2nd, we have the planet Neptune starting to go retrograde in the sign of Pisces at critical degree, 29 degrees. So we've got Pluto retrograde. We've had Pluto retrograde for about the past month or so. Saturn retrograde as of just a few days ago, and Neptune going retrograde on July 2nd, and will be retrograde until December 7th. So, you know, Neptune's interesting because Neptune has been the strongest outer planet in the Western astrology, because it's the only outer planet currently in a home sign in its rulership of Pisces. And when planets go retrograde, we actually feel their influence stronger, because technically they're actually closer to the Earth when they're retrograde. So when planets are retrograde, we're being invited to review and reflect on whatever areas of life that planet rules. And Neptune is the planet that rules spirituality, creativity, compassion. So it's a good time from now until December 7th. I know it can sound like a really long time period, but just saying really good time to really get into a spiritual practice, to really be strong in your spiritual connection. Good time to be doing any kind of spiritual or energetic healing work. And for the collective, there can be a major loss of something, possibly a major letting go of something, because Neptune has to do with loss and disappearance and dissolving. So, Neptune being retrograde with Saturn, Granddaddy Saturn, as I like to call him, is, I think, the dissolving of the systems and structures that we have been living in, these matrix systems and structures ruled by Saturn. So we're going to see those governmental systems dissolve more and more over the coming months with those two retrograde and conjunct at the same time. So, it can feel slower in the areas of life that Neptune and Saturn rule now that they're retrograde, but very good time to review, reflect on your life, on your spirituality and connection, and any creative practices, if you have any, also ruled by Neptune. And of course, on July 5th, we're going to have this beautiful new moon in Cancer that I really, really love the energy of. And I highly recommend, if it resonates you, to set aside some time to put out some intentions, to do whatever sacred practice resonates with you, to be in alignment with this new energy, which new moons are all about setting our intentions, new beginnings. It's the new cycle in the phases of the moon. And the moon is in her home sign of Cancer. So she's most comfortable, most happy in the sign of Cancer. This is very, very positive, and we've got beautiful aspects happening to this new moon in Cancer that I'm going to talk about. So you're going to want to see where you have 14 degrees of Cancer in your personal birth chart to see what specific area of life you can be experiencing a new beginning, a new, interesting, spirit wants me to say the word revelation coming through in depending on whatever areas the house rules in your chart that you have 14 degrees of Cancer, or any planets that you have around 14 degrees of Cancer, whatever areas of life they rule can really be highlighted as well. So, this is a strong moon because it's the moon in her home sign, and Cancer and the moon rule home, family, our ancestors, our home country, our emotions and emotional well-being, the divine feminine, mothers, the public, the people of the world, and self-care and how we nurture ourselves. So it's a very good new moon to be setting any intentions around your homes. If you're wanting to do something to the home, feng shui, some renovations, finding a new home, selling home or property, or any intentions around maybe wanting to start a family yourself, your relationship to your family, anything home and family related is really in alignment to set intentions around, and to also be maybe doing some emotional healing work around this new moon. Cancer can be very, very healing as well. And we do have a Venus square Chiron at the exact time to this new moon. So I can see some actually healing breakthroughs happening with our family members during this week, during this new moon portal, the 3 days before and after this new moon. So I really love the energy of this for setting our intentions in general, and also for focusing on our home and family and doing any kind of emotional healing and healing breakthroughs with our family. We've got lots of positive aspects happening with Saturn at this new moon, which is really interesting. The sun and the moon are in trine to Saturn. Mars is in an exact sextile to Saturn, and Venus is trine Saturn. So this is really positive because Saturn is one of the malefic planets. So it can be really, really heavy of an energy if it's in adverse aspect. But at the time of this new moon, which I think is exact on Friday, is the exact time of the new moon, Friday, July 5th, positive aspects to Saturn. And Saturn is about our long-term goals and visions. So setting intentions for the long term can be very positive and fruitful at this time. So, loving the energy of this new moon, and I'm wishing you all a very, very happy new moon. And nice to see you all here in the live chat. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Danae says, "Hi, Meg. Love your updates and deep dives. I started studying astrology after listening to you. I'm from Australia. Your trip feels amazing. Would have loved to be there. Enjoy your break." Aw, thank you so much, Danae. I'm sending so much love your way. And yeah, it's kind of sad that I'm not going to be doing any live shows for 2 weeks, but I'm going to be sending you all so much positive vibes from the sacred sites of England, where Jens and I and some of our soul family are going to be. So maybe you'll get some feelings or thoughts of us sending some positive love your way. And really, tune into that new moon, because this is going to be a gorgeous new moon portal that we're going to have this week. And I also want to remind you guys that we've got this Summer Madness sale on the Insider Access Pass on Beyond Mystic, 50% off, that is going to expire July 4th. So take advantage of that if you're not yet an IAP member. And the code is all in one word, IAP50, to get 50% off the annual Insider Access Pass. And again, if you'd like to book a personal astrology reading with me, which now I think I'm halfway booked through September. So if you'd like to have a reading with me in 2024, go to the link in the description box of this video. And we've got discount code, all in one word, Beyond Mystic, that you can use to get 10% off your next reading with me. And I'm going to miss you guys too. You guys are saying, "Meg, going to miss you." I'm going to miss you guys too. And we're actually going to be taking Jens and I a social media break. So I'm going to be completely offline. One of the places we're going to be staying at is actually an off-grid, total off-grid place. So I'm not going to be posting while I'm gone, but I promise we'll share pictures and videos when we come back, and we're going to be sending lots of positive energy while we're in the southwestern sacred sites of England. So I love you all so, so much. I'm sending so much cosmic love your way. Happy Canada Day. Happy July 4th. Happy new moon in Cancer. And I'll see you guys on the other side. Love you. Bye.